Hello, everybody. Hi, how are you? It's a nice pleasure, and thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to present my one of the latest research at American Men's Studies International Conference, annual conference this time. So today I'm going to make a little bit of presentations of and leading to my one of the latest research and as an extension of my latest doctoral research. So this is about the digital renaissance of a young male beauty, how social media shapes modern masculinity and desire. In this, I'm going to, in a nutshell, present what is about my research as a scholarly paper. So this research investigates digital aesthetization of young male beauty. So, there are lots of things happening nowadays as an extension of digital social virtual media. So in the couple of social media are so attacked and demanded for how male present themselves through digitalized versions of male masculine figures. So this explores the impact on masculinity, sexuality, and desire. So I use queer theory on one hand, and on the other hand, feminist virtual critique and the media studies. So this paper argues digital platforms create fluid, performative masculinities. So this highlights the role of algorithms and commodifications. So in a nutshell, I use more of these variables in my research paper. So young male beauty and digital media, masculinity, desire, social media, queer theory, visual culture, performativity, and algorithmic mediation. So introducing what I'm telling you, that, after the 1990, Marx Pensky, American scholar, who said that the people who are born after this decade are a bit different. So there's a huge generational gap because of the digital versions of the social media and how this sparks a huge, tremendous beauties, desires, romances, and as a technological people. So when it comes to the digital era, it sparks a renaissance in male beauty representation. So social media enables curations and performance of young male identities. This challenges traditional heteronormative masculinity. That is, I'm talking. So this focus on vulnerability, eroticism, and affect. So the paper explores aesthetics, identity formations, and politics of desire. So I use literature through a couple of layers from the early Roman Greek art that celebrated youth, beauty, and homoerotic desire. So male body has eroticized as an object dates to the classical antiquity. So classical sexuality was fluid, complex, as Halperin in 1990 argues that this has a peculiar visual portrayals. So the digital images echo classical aesthetics. That's I'm arguing through as an implications of the literature. So challenging the heteronormativity. Second, the masculinity is very important key literature to my paper, that as Roman Cornels argues that how hegemonic masculinity has dominant and emphasized the stoicism, valor, strength, power, heterosexuality. So the critique shows the rise of alternative masculinities through the emotional expressiveness, fluidity, and all those things. So the digital aesthetics, on the other hand, foreground vulnerability and affect through the emotional politics of the social media that is widely expand from global north to the global south, where I stay. So this paper signals sociocultural transformations in gender and power as how I use the masculinity studies. The third literature is that the queer theory, how queer theory, as Judith Butler's gender performativity argues that masculinity is enacted, reconfigured, constructed, created, but it's not innate and it is not static. Digital male beauty as performative act subverting these norms. So this blurs the hetero-homo dichotoms or the binaries and colonial sexual discourses. This allows hybrid identities and fluid desires. So when I go to the analysis, this is so important because I as a virtual ethnographer use visual culture and algorithmics that is widely expanded over the social virtual digital media. So the visual culture is a site of power it is a site of power. It's not only the romance, it's not only the desires or relationships, but it takes some forms of the power, a site of power. Digital body is commodified, therefore, and circulated via engagement algorithms. So the algorithms means it is configured, manipulated, structured, and classified ways in order to address a certain objective. That is called the algorithms. When it comes to selfie culture, extends commodification and self-branding. Algorithms reproduce and resist capitalist patriarchal norms. The methodology is, it is a qualitative inductive designs. This is online ethnography, and it though scales through the multi-method approach. So the critical visual analysis of Instagram, TikTok, YouTube contents from January 2024 to January 25 is my sample. It is purposive sample. So the discourse analysis of comments and fan narratives I am using for my analysis. So the historical theoretical conceptualization from the early Greek Roman portrayals and from the queer theory, masculinity, and the visual culture and algorithms is used. Algorithmic mediation study of content visibility is so focused accordingly. And for the data analysis, it is thematic analysis as Clark and Brom emphasize. So the data triangulated for rigor. The analysis says that fundamentally it's from the masculinity that it is a performed masculinity. It's not neither hegemonic nor marginalized or masculinities, but it is performed because in the screen culture, the people have a chance to take and open and liberate and recreate what they want through this technology. So the social media male bodies, as a result, perform fluid, affective masculinity, as Butler argued in 1990. This combines vulnerability, emotional expressiveness, and stylistic diversity. As a result, this challenges hegemonic masculinity by privileging feminine aesthetics. That means some fluidity or the mixture or the transformation or intersectional trajecting through the dominant pillars of masculinities or masculinity. The shift from this instrumental to affective masculinity. The second is algorithmic gaze and erotic capital. You see this picture, how it is created. This kind of young male bodies configured to the emphasize of their six packs or the male toxic forms of desires that is neither homo or hetero is emergingly appeared through the visual culture. So the algorithms prioritize this youthfulness, expressive male bodies, as Van den Dijek, the Sweden communication scholar, argues through the digital network theory. So this creates erotic capital. It's very interesting, erotic capital for social economic gains, as Hakim argued. So the commodification risk reinforcing exclusionary beauty standards. Neoliberal self-surveillance emerge alongside resistance. So the third analysis is that from the queer temporality and sexual fluidity. This is so interesting. This is so interesting when it comes to the how it intersectionally interplay with the femininity, masculinity, gender, and the sexual research. Digital spaces enable, therefore, fluid sexual identities beyond fixed timelines, as said the famous scholar argues in 1990. Fosters hetero-homo continuum and queer world medium. This challenges normative sexual trajectories and binaries. This supports continuous explorations of desire and identity. So the historical continuities and how it interplay with the digital innovations, digital aesthetics revive classical male beauty tropes. This global circulation pervades and transforms ancient idols. This dialogues between analog to digital, local to global, and online to offline identities are widespread, and where we live and exchange our personal collective things are always mixing through these happenings. This contributes to the layered, temporarily situated masculinity. So, for an example, in this presentation, I'll give this screen to you to decide how you see this different, diverse, creative forms of male bodies. What is your feeling? What is your emotions? How do you feel this thing? What do you see on and in this? So this gives a chance to say that male figures are more opening. Male figures are more reconstructing. Male figures are not static, as either Rowan Cornell argues through the hegemonic masculinity. Though they are hegemonic, they want to express psychoanalytic desires or romances with the technology, as algorithmic cultures. Visual screens are supported through liberating their own body, mind desires. So this gives a chance to say that the male masculinity is not static, it's performed with the time, technology, and the space. So having said this, I'll reach to the conclusions that the digital renaissance renegotiated masculinity, desire, and identity. Social media challenges and perpetuates hegemonic norms via algorithms. Queer and visual theory reveals fluid performative masculinities. Therefore, historical legacies and digital innovation coexist in male sexual cultures. So, as an extension of this study, I suggest for the further research needed on, especially the young people and the use of social digital networks platforms in case of psychosocial impacts, and the intersectionality is more used. Thank you very much. I would like to listen to your comments to develop and shape this research for much better and line for this one. Thank you very much for giving me a chance to present my latest research. Good day. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.